3, 2, 1. Okay.
Well, howdy there, patriots and obedient vassals. Welcome back to Red Pill Politics. We are on the road this week. You guys are in for a real treat. John Costa, the gun runner, is with us today. John, welcome to Red Pill Politics.
Thank you very much.
We couldn't wait to come out here and talk to you. You, from day one, since this coronavirus thing started, all the restrictions that were put on America, right across the board, you would have none of it. You stayed open right from day one. You recognized something was wrong here, and you never closed your doors, did you?
Did not. No.
No?
Never closed my doors. Nope, I stayed open all the time. I know my constitutional rights, and I stood by them. I was to it.
How long have you had this store here?
This particular store going on 7 years.
Right. How, have you been in the business longer? Is this
Since 1986.
86?
That's when gun shops were gun shops, and nobody was trying to get each other, and the government wasn't doing much of anything as far as shutting us down. Then again, it was a whole different type of people then. It was, you know, not too long after the war and stuff like that, and during the Vietnam conflict and all that stuff. So people knew about what socialism was all about, and these Democrats didn't dare breathe any of that until now, because, well, now the kids these days, the way they've been taught in school, they don't know anything about what happened during World War I, during World War II, what Nazism was all about, what fascism was all about, what communism was all about. They have no clue. And it's to the advantage of these politicians, because this is the way. But us old folks, we're still around. I'm still kicking. I'm still here. I know what socialism is all about. I know what freedom is all about. I joined the service to preserve my freedom, not to give it away, not to give it up to these low-life animals who think, you know, that they can just con us to thinking that we need more security. Yeah. You give up your freedom for security, you're going to have none. You know who said that? Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
He was a pretty smart fella. He wasn't too smart because he tried to make the turkey our national bird. So what did the government do? They picked the bald eagle, one of the biggest thieves around. So here we go again. Indians knew that.
Yeah. Well, you're exactly right, though. You make a very important point, is that liberty and government security are inversely proportional. If you want a little bit of government security, you're going to give up a little bit of liberty. If you want total security, and that, shockingly, is what the governor requested of the MMA board, the Massachusetts Municipal Association. They're the stakeholders that were put out front to speak on the behalf of the municipalities, and the goal that was stated by the governor in part was to create a rollout plan, a reopening plan that eliminates risk of potential spikes. I can't think of an instance where it's possible to eliminate all risk, so the very goal, I think, is unachievable right up front.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you eliminate risk of such things and then to turn around and cherry pick? This is something as a veteran and someone who loves his country. It must be very bothersome to see them picking winners and losers and who's essential and claiming you're not.
Well, he claimed that we weren't essential for one reason and one reason alone. To put a hardship on all us gun dealers, to close us down. Not just temporarily, for good. Because you need money to survive. You have a gun shop, this does not run on air. This costs money to run. It costs quite a lot of money between insurances, heat, government regulations, too many of them anyways. Government regulations, and how are you going to do that if you're closed? And yes, the Second Amendment gives us the right to continue our business. Nothing in the Second Amendment says it changes because of an emergency. There's no wording in there whatsoever that says it changes because of an emergency. As a matter of fact, it becomes more enforced. We need the right to protect ourselves. We need the right to buy ammo. We need the right to serve our customers and not have this socialist thing called the governor take it away from us because of his own private, personal things that he wants to do. He wants us not to have firearms, and that's all there is to it. So what better way to, oh, wow, we'll use this virus so I can get my way. Him and Moron Healy, oh, excuse me, did I call him Moron Healy? Well, she deserves that name. Moron Healy, who's advising him all the way.
Yeah, you can't deny that. When he first came out with that restriction and said the gun shops were an essential, the president had commented on that, and at the federal level they say that doesn't go. And of course, the governor, he looked over at Maura Healey's Twitter account. Moments later, he reverses once he lets you guys open up. He says, oh, nope, that's it, and shut you down again.
I hope she uses a lot of disinfectant on that arm of hers because she shoves it up so far up there that she actually moves his lips.
Well,
Really?
I'm afraid she's going to run for governor. I think she's positioned herself for that. Talk about the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah, I know she is. Oh, there's no doubt about it. And when she talks, my ears actually bleed. They bleed just listening to her. Oh my God, what is this? What is wrong with the American people today that they actually listen? Well, I know what it is. It's all these anti-gun organizations who are feeding her money. You know, we had a gentleman who was running for Attorney General. I can't think of his name right now.
McMahon.
Jay McMahon ran for Attorney General, and in Boston he lost miserably. He got she got like over 1 million votes in Boston alone. Through all these so-called bleeding heart anti-gun organizations who were feeding her all this money to her lies, because she's not the God. She's not, well, she's a false God, definitely. John the Apostle warned us about stuff like this, that we're going to have a lot of false gods who've come to save us, and all they're here for is just for themselves, just to make money, just to feed their pockets, and put us through another hell. And that's what Jesus Christ said, that the false gods are coming, and guess what? They're already here. They're here,
Yeah,
these politicians.
We're being ruled by our inferiors, and it's starting to show.
Yes.
We've got this whole restrictions. I've heard people refer to it as a law. I've heard them refer to it just an order, a directive. The public is very confused, and you mentioned I cannot believe why, how people follow these orders. How is it that people, the average, we the people, individual, are following executive orders from the governor? These are meant for state agencies, and people have jumped and panicked.
Yep.
So that I don't understand. Businesses and individuals are taking these executive orders from the governor to heart. You just nullified this before the ink was dry, and you've been good to go. And I think every business should have done that. I don't think you're being inconsiderate to your customers. Is that I'm sure you put into place whatever would make them comfortable in a trying time like this. But don't you think common sense would prevail in the business community?
The problem with common sense is they've lost it. No one's got common sense. Especially this younger generation, they're so book-learned smart, they have no common sense whatsoever. And this is what this government is banking on. People with no common sense. In other words, stupid people, period. That's all I got to say. They're not smart at all, they have no common sense. I mean, when I opened my store and said I wasn't closing, I was getting phone calls from different dealers. John, well, I know we don't see eye to eye. Of course not. You people are a bunch of one-armed bandits. All you want to do is just go after one another. There's no unity in this business. It's dog eat dog. And now as you see that I am open, yet warning me that the government's coming after me, so be it. Let them come. Let them come. They're going to drag me away from here in chains. I had a couple of chains wrapped around those posts out front, waiting for someone to come to take me away. Because I was going to beeline to those chains and chain myself to the damn post and says, here, call in the news media now. Oh, you don't want to do that. Why not? They're going to draw too much attention. Is that what it is? And this is why I think these people never even, not one peep came out of, neither one of them, the Attorney General nor the governor, but they did send their little cronies like the Board of Health to my store. They served me with a cease and desist order. I'm looking at this, you know, this doesn't even make good toilet paper, for Pete's sakes. You know? Get out of here. And by the way, I'm doing curbside. And guess what? You're allowing all the restaurants to do curbside. You're allowing restaurants where people are working there shoulder to shoulder in those kitchens, breathing. And when they talk, you know, saliva coming out of their mouth. And I know they're not wearing masks. And they're in there, and then they're serving the public all these meals, McDonald's, Burger King, I can't even remember the donut shops, Dunkin' Donuts, Honeydew, and all that stuff. Really? The other day I went to the supermarket. You ready for this? Masks are required in this supermarket, or you will be asked to leave. So I walked by the meat department. They got these big plate glass windows so you can see the butchers in there doing all their jobs. Their masks are all down around their necks and they're cutting the meat and they're talking back and forth. And so I went over to the manager. I got it on phone. It's right here. I got it right here. I can make it viral anytime. And I said, hey, manager, if I don't wear a mask, what are you going to do? I'm going to ask you to leave. I said, well, you better start asking your employees to leave right now because none of them's wearing a mask. He went storming over there like you would not believe. Yeah, no kidding. And then, there's this other supermarket. One of my cousins, his son came down. Well, he came down with the coronavirus. His wife gave it to him because they were putting all these sick people in the hospitals with all the other people. So her job was to sanitize the rooms afterwards and all that stuff. Well, she caught it. And they're claiming, oh, you breathed in too many, what was it? Ammonia fumes. That's why you're coughing up blood. Boom. She had the coronavirus. She tested positive. She gave it to her husband, who in turn gave it to her son, who worked at a supermarket. I don't know if I should tell the name, because that probably put them out of business. He had the virus in that supermarket at first. Of course, they sent him home. So about 2-3 days later, I go to the supermarket. By the way, has anyone been sick in this supermarket? Oh, no, no one's been sick in this supermarket. Really now? This is what's happening. The lies and everything else to protect what? This.
We're finding out now that there's not really, I mean, this is, all viruses are dangerous. You know, I think we all agree on that.
Yes.
This was blown out of proportion. What we're seeing now, the numbers are in fact comparable to the flu. So, I mean, there's got to be something else to this. And it's more than guns. They're doing it all over the whole world.
Yeah.
But we are, I think, being tested.
It's called socialist Democrats and some Republicans who want power. And what better way to obtain power than to make them look like heroes. But we, the gun owners, we're not stupid, we're not naive, we do have common sense. And well, they want us out of the way. But what better way to do that than again, to close the gun shops. Put them through all kinds of hardships, put them to the point where they can no longer operate. I've known a couple of places that have been bankrupt, went bankrupt, because of them. And the news media, they play right into them. I had the news media come in here, this guy was, I couldn't get near him. He was wearing a mask. I couldn't hear him because it was outside. So can I just put your phone next to me? Oh, no, you don't touch my phone. I said, fine, I won't touch your phone. And he says, aren't you a little concerned that by being open, you are endangering the lives of your customers? And I looked at him and I says, well, that's funny. Package stores are open and nobody's worried about endangering the lives of their customers except for us. Package stores. What is essential about a package store? Yeah, it's all about drunks. It's all about drunken driving. It's all about accident. It's all about homeless turning in their Coke bottles and their soda bottles to buy what?
I think if
Pink Rose or whatever the hell. And who's got the biggest transmission of the coronavirus? The homeless. Who are you are letting into these package stores to buy this alcohol? For why? Because you want the money. It's all about the money. Nothing about lives, nothing about saving lives. It's all about the money, Governor Faker.
Yep.
That's what it's all about.
We look at there's choices of what's essential and not. And here you are in gun shop, the Second Amendment. I don't know what can be more essential than something deemed to be necessary, which is in the language of the Second Amendment. But what about, they got abortion clinics open. We're in the middle of a viral outbreak that's supposed to be dangerous, a selective invasive medical procedure. And I mean, I put that right up there with the liquor stores.
Yes.
I don't determine either of those to be essential.
I was told I am a lay minister, a Eucharistic visitor. I go around giving communion to the old folks who, can't go to church. They're either bedridden or something. I've already prayed over quite a few who have died. Not from the coronavirus, they've died from other complications, but I was there, which breaks my heart being there, because I have to tell them, don't worry, God loves you, God is waiting for you, God will not let you down, God will not abandon you, and they smile, right? And then they die. I don't tell many people this. It's happened 3 times already with me. I have one more left who's at the Anna Shaw home right now here in Middleborough. I can't go see her because they're afraid that I'm going to transmit the virus to her. If I had the virus, guess what? I'd be dead already. I'm 71 years old with a pacemaker. What do you think the virus will do to me? I'm gone, but yet I don't care. I will stand for my rights, but they won't allow me to go in there to administer communion or anything to these people. Yet. They're putting the virus-infected people in some of those old folks' homes. And families are in an uproar because their loved ones are dying, not because of old age, because of that very thing, the virus. I gave a suggestion. How many islands do we have outside of Boston? How many islands? Quite
About a
few.
dozen or so, yeah.
A dozen or good size, with buildings, good sized buildings, electricity, the whole 9 yards. Why aren't these people over there? There's plenty of ferries, plenty of room. Send volunteers down there to care for those people. Keep them out of the old folks' home. Keep them out of the normal hospitals. Put them in those buildings. So what if we end up with another Australia? Who cares?
Well, you know what? I asked the health officials, and I've never once gotten an answer. As I tell you, you've ordered people to stay in their homes, basically. A lot of people, especially those that have become addicts of social welfare, are living in these little housing cubicles. A lot of the old folks that die are in assisted living homes where these are multiples of apartments together. And I said, let's talk to your planning department. You've approved all this layers of regulation and what's good and bad about development. Are we putting people in, ordering them to stay inside a home where the air is circulated amongst all the units? All right, you approved these units to be constructed that way. You ordered it. Now you're ordering people in there during a viral outbreak. Is it possible, again, government has actually created a hazard? I mean, I don't know that sounds like a safe place to be during the virus outbreak.
It's all about ratings. It's all about having their name put out there. It's all about re-election, number one. This is why they have sanctuary cities, because now they want to make all these people citizens. Why? For the vote. That's the only reason why. You got all of these sanctuary cities. You got all of this. Boston's one of them. New York's another one. Hey, guess what? Sanctuary cities are the worst hit by the virus, by the way.
Yeah.
Well,
they're pairing it up with the write-in voting right now.
Yes.
They're finishing their conspiracy to rig the election. I've been saying this.
I knew that all along. I knew that for a long time.
Yeah, the
I knew
people
that for a long
do.
time.
We got to tell the audience. We have been talking about this. The people do realize we're in the middle of an election rigging. Call your representatives and put them on notice. I'm going to get a hold of it. I've been thinking about this for a few days.
We need a watchdog organization to watch these suckers carefully. And the minute they do something, we the people, remember that, we the people have to know what's going on. by these lowlives. We have to know. There's all there is to it. But that doesn't happen. You've got senators, Republicans, and Democrats and Republicans alike, who are lifetime whatever. What's that all about? That's more like a dictatorship than it is a representative. Period. What are they doing still in office? Why not term time on these people? 4 years, you're done. So let somebody else mess up the country. You've messed it up enough. Let somebody else who thinks they can do better. The smartest thing we ever did, that we elected what? Not a politician. We elected a businessman. Who's running this country like a business. And guess what? It's working. That's going up their butt sideways that it's working. All they talk about is figure out all kinds of ways to discredit a man who's running this country. The best I've ever seen. The best I've ever seen.
Right.
The only honest politician was one. He was called Abraham Lincoln, and he paid for it with his life. Today, we don't have honest politicians.
We don't have any statesmen left.
None of these did not left. No, none of this left. It's all about the money, and now they're pushing socialism because the younger generation have no clue what the hell socialism's all about. They weren't taught that in school. I lived it. I lived it. My parents lived it. I joined the service. I volunteered to fight in the war because of socialism. Didn't do a damn bit of good.
No, the kids think it's an end point. They talk about it like it's a glorious way to get free stuff from government. But socialism is a transitional form of government where you go from a free republic to communism. And what lies in the middle is socialism.
Yeah, well, I've got a short story if you want to hear it about a farmer who was having problems with wild boars.
I think I know the story you're going to tell, but let's hear it.
He had this field, and they'd go in there and eat all the vegetables and ruin the crop and turn over the soil, because that's what wild boars do. So he decided, you know, I'm going to get these pigs. Let's treat them like socialists. Let's treat them. He had a bunch of Democrats going in there, stealing his food, you know, destroying the property. So, put up a wall, one side, a wall. And in the middle of the wall, he put all this free food. All kinds of good stuff, donuts, vegetables, everything. The wild boars come running in the middle of the night. They see this wall. It's a wall. That's nothing. They'd start eating all that food, wipe it all out, do some more destruction, take off. Farmer goes in there, sees that all the food's gone, puts another big pile of food, puts another wall. Now it's an L shape. Got it? Pigs come back. They see the L. They see the food. Oh, God, something's going on here. But look at all that free food. He's feeding us. Let's go eat. They eat all the food. Comes back the next morning, piles up more food, puts a fourth wall, a third wall in. Now it's shaped like an H. Pigs come back in, there's that big pile of food again. But they're seeing these three walls. Oh, wow. That's all right. Look at all that free food. They go running inside, stuff their faces big time. They even tried to destroy half the wall, but they couldn't because it was a real sturdy wall. Take off. Next morning, the farmer puts all the food back in, puts two sides to the three walls, and a big gate wide open. Pigs come the next night. There's all that food. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. It's a very small open. That's okay. He's feeding us. He's taking care of us. In they go. Slam. The gate closed. What do you think happened to those pigs in the end?
Off to slaughter.
Bacon and sausage.
This is your government for you.
Well, the walls are caving in. There's
are.
not much. I can't think of a freedom or a liberty that we have anymore where we don't have to first go and make application, file for a permit.
Yeah.
We turn a right into a revocable privilege with every license and permit that we take. And how many licenses do you have to deal with to run this shop the way the government wants
I
you
have to, yes, I have to do a license to sell firearms, a federal license, a state license to sell firearms, a federal license to do gunsmithing, and then the state wants their half. I need a state license to sell firearms, a state license to sell ammunition, a state license to be a gunsmith. Boy, I'm telling you, one day we were selling Glocks to first responders. Now, according to Glock, first responders get a break. Of course, naive me, well, it wasn't that naive. I was selling Glocks, which is not a mass-compliant gun. Oh, by the way, Maura Healy has one. She pressured some poor sucker into selling her a Glock 43. She had a 17 was too big for her. Now she has a little Glock 43. And that was told by a very reliable source, a state trooper, by the way. Anyways, she did not have the courage to come to my store and hit me with a cease and desist or even a summons to go to court, because I wasn't selling the Glocks to just any old person. I was selling it to firefighters. What happens to a firefighter if somebody sets fire to a building and they don't want them to put out that fire? They're going to get shot at. Okay? What happens to a firefighter if he answers a call and somebody's on drugs and the boyfriend of that person who's totally out of it doesn't want them to take her away? What do you think can happen? Why shouldn't firemen have firearms? And firemen, why shouldn't EMTs have firearms? These are first responders. They should have a good firearm, like a Glock. So, she sent Middleborough's finest to me with this thing with all the rules and regulations. And I looked at it, I says, well, you know, I didn't know that. I did. But anyways, I didn't know that. Okay, we're going to stop selling Glocks to first responders and only to police officers. And I said, by the way, what are you doing here? This ain't no law. This is a regulation. This ends up as a civil suit, not the police department's business. You know what his remarks were?
What?
It may not be a law, but I hold your state license.
That's the most popular thing,
I
hijack
have never
licenses.
told anybody this. I got it all on tape. That's called coercion.
Yeah.
Coercement. It's
Yeah.
called coercion. It's what it's called.
Yeah, and that's exactly what everyone has said, whether a gun shop or a hairdresser or a store. You know, why don't you just open? And they'll say, they'll take my license. It's extortion.
This is what I say. Take my license, so what? I'll still sell guns. I'll be like Boston, selling guns to anybody and everybody. You want that instead? That can be done.
No.
You put me in jail, but I guarantee I'll get a couple of thousand guns out there by the time you get to jail.
Yeah, it's like those
I
that
told
try
my
without.
wife, they take my license, I'm still going to sell. I'm not going to stop.
But
It's not going to happen.
how do we reach out to your community? You're a beacon here in the South Shore. How do we get others to look at you and say, you know, if he can do it, we can do it?
Besides a few exceptions, I did have help from a few gun shops. And I will name one. It was one of my... They didn't open because of their attorneys were warning them, you know, we're going to sue him, we're going to give him all kinds of money. But meanwhile, the poor guy, how's he paying his bills? He's got this big, huge, beautiful gun shop. It's called Cape Gunworks.
Cape Cod Gunworks.
No, it's Cape Gunworks, not
Okay.
Cape Cod. I keep on throwing the Cape Cod in there, but there's no Cape Cod in there. It's Cape Gunworks.
Yeah.
Who had millions of dollars in inventory. I guarantee you he does. There's no exaggeration, because when I went there, I went, wow! Place is beautiful! Gun range, the whole 9 yards. He had a bunch of guns that he couldn't transfer, because people buy guns elsewhere because they get a better deal from these one-armed bandits, these sharks who are out there like Grab a Gun, or Bud's Gun Shop, places like that, who don't care, who will buy like a distributor. No, who buy like a manufacturer, who buy like a distributor and sell to anyone for prices that I have to pay for the same thing. Places like Four Seasons. There's one right there. He belongs to a buyer's club, so he gets these guns at what I have to pay for him. No, he gets these guns for less than what I pay for them and sells them for what I have to pay for them.
Yeah.
Like I said, there is no unity in this business. Everybody's out for themselves. You don't see car dealers pulling that crap. I don't care what car dealer you go to, what deal you're going to get. They're all making the same amount of money, no matter who you see, who you know. They claim that they're giving you a better deal, but it's the whole thing throughout the whole industry. It's the same. Not through gun shops. They do everything in their power, anything they can, any underhanded thing they can to get the customer's loyalty, which they don't get. Because you can give a customer a hell of a deal, and he'll say, well, you're the best in the world, I'm going to buy all my stuff from you, but Joe Schmo down the road gives a better deal, guess where he'll be at? At that one. It's the way it works. That's life in this world.
Well, it's capitalism, you know, where businesses.
But there's no unity in this dealers, in gun dealers. Don't know. Back in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, that didn't happen. We took care of each other.
Well, you used to be able to buy a rifle to
Yeah.
a magazine back then, too.
Yes, you could. But we could also match and compete with those people.
Yeah.
Not today.
Yeah.
So I decided to stay open, and all of a sudden I'm getting warnings from other dealers. I won't mention any names. They're watching you. They're going to trace how many guns you're selling. They're going to come after you. Why? Because you're closed? I'm not going to close. I don't care what they do, what they try to do, who they're coming after. I am not closing. So this Cape Gun Works had these guns they had to give them to their customers who were getting a little impatient. They were transfers that they had to, so they called me. And he says, Mr. Gun, because they heard about me being defying the government. I says, will you transfer these guns for us? I says, sure, why not? It hurts my business, but I don't care. I'll do it. I make a little bit of money for the transfer because we do charge. We don't do transfers for free. So they came down, we did the transfers, and then I said, well, this is a big gun shop. They've got a shooting range. I wonder how much ammo they have. Holy crap, they have mountains of ammo, which they couldn't do nothing with. So I talked to the owner. I says, Toby, you got all this ammo. I can't get ammo, no matter who I call because of this pandemic. All the distributors have no ammo. I can get 1 or 2 boxes. Meanwhile, I'm getting customers every 5 minutes looking for 9mm 45. What can you do for me? He says, John, you want ammo? I'll sell you ammo at my cost. So I started buying their ammo, their 9mm, their 45s. I was going there once a week, picking up a truckload of ammo so I could sell to my customers. Thank you, Cape Gun Works. You're the best, and I wish you all the luck. You hear that? I wish you all the luck. And you are one good person, I'll tell you. I wish more dealers were like you, but they're not. You're a very rare, you're a rarity.
But, I mean, they're kind of missing out. They could have just opened the doors. But
No.
their freedom and their backbone seems to be vicariously through you.
They were harassed by not just the governor. They were harassed by the police. They were harassed by the town. I can understand. I can understand if you're harassed by all these so-called powerful places. I only got harassed by the Board of Health, and they were a joke. But I'm a crazy person. I don't care. I don't care what. I will do what I want, provided it's legal, of course.
Yeah. No, I mean, you've got all the licenses, so clearly you're not out there to do
I worked my
anything.
butt off to start this
No.
business way back. I fought in the war to preserve my rights. I am not going to have it taken away by a bunch of socialist pigs. Remember the farmer and the pigs.
Yeah, that's what greed will get you, and if you get your food off the back of a government truck, I always said we are in trouble.
You're
as a
going to
nation.
pay.
And we're
in
close
the
to
end.
that.
You're going
Aren't
to
we?
pay, yes.
Good,
we
right
are
now,
so
super
close.
Walmarts and your big box stores are the only thing that's open. So you are getting your food off a government truck. It's just coming to a loading dock, and they move it to the front of the store where you buy it. So we're in trouble.
I went to-
Look at you've got a lot of product downstairs.
I had a lot of product, trust me.
I mean, there's people that do custom work. I've been in other stores, leather workers who do leather sidearm holsters, straps. There's other people whose businesses and their ability to keep their head above water is tied upon your stores being open and all the
Yes.
others. So this doesn't affect one person.
No, it does
People
not.
truck this stuff, make these things.
Oh, they said that the factories were allowed to stay open. Big deal. What good is a factory being open if they can't sell their products to no one?
Yeah.
What's that all about? Right. This government says, I don't understand how such a guy with so much college education can be so stupid.
Educated idiots, they call them.
Educated idiots is right. Book smart and no common sense, not even an ounce.
Yeah, but they've...
But then again, he's a socialist. That's what he is. He wants to wipe out the gun industry. He's part of that group. He's part of the anti-gunners.
Sure.
And what better way to do it than to use this?
Yeah, you know, we've been telling people that Charlie Baker's a progressive since before he was elected the first time. Sadly, they elected him again. I don't know how much abuse you're going to take, folks. You've been lied to 8 ways from Sunday. He checks Maura Healey's Twitter feed to make sure he's making the right decisions. We need leadership. John
Definitely not
Costa
that.
for governor. How about that?
Ha, well, you don't want to know what would happen if I trust me.
How about Attorney General? We need one
Oh
of
my
those.
God, there'd be so many people in prison that wouldn't be funny. Are you kidding
And they
me?
all be wearing suits,
No,
right?
they'd be in that those islands out there off the shores of Boston is where they'd be.
There we
The
go.
heck with conservation. Make it another Australia for Pete's sake.
Well, if anything was going to pollute the water, I imagine it'd be a gaggle of politicians
Yes.
being stuck out there.
My God, Jesus.
Geez. So you have no intentions of closing.
No,
You've
not
got
for
a
what?
cease and desist that you promptly nullified.
Yes,
And business is good.
business is great. Well, not so great now. I wish you gun deals would go back into hiding again. Yes,
Yeah.
really. No, just kidding.
Well,
Business was good. Business is good. Business is still good. People remember me. I'm known throughout the whole country, seaboard to seaboard. They know who the gun runner is. Because I chose to stay open. I chose to defend my constitutional rights, Charlie Faker.
yeah, you're right. Use some of that spotlight because I tell my selectmen in town, they like to say they want to revitalize and make our town economically viable and revitalized, yet they're so aggressive. You got the spotlight on you right now. I tell my selectmen, you have got good, decent people around you losing their businesses every day.
That's right.
And
Right. And I feel real bad. I do. I feel really bad for them because I don't think this should be happening.
you know,
I really don't. Nope.
I mean, you must have some customers that enjoyed coming here and probably can't
They
now,
can't.
even though you're open because
They
they're trying to
can't
feed
because
their families.
They're bankrupt.
Yeah.
They're bankrupt. I says, how the heck? And you go into the grocery stores, and now the shelves are becoming market basket. The pork section wiped out, totally empty, nothing there. I said, what happened to all the meat?
Yeah.
What's going to happen to all? If this continues, what is going to happen to all the food?
They almost broke the food supply line a few weeks ago, and luckily the president stepped in with an executive order, allowed the meat packing places.
I'm surprised
to be
you heard
open.
that because they're not going to. The socialist news media ain't going to print that.
Yeah. Well.
They're going to keep it. He's bad. Everything he does is wrong. They say the Obama era is better. The Obamacare, one of the greatest things that ever happened. Guess what came out of that? Guess what some of these caretakers were advised to do? You're old, you're feeble, you're on this, you're on that, you're going to get rated from 1 to 10. And if you're a 5, 6, 7, or 8, you die. That's all there is to it. You die. Anything that's needed to keep you alive will be used on someone younger, who has, by the way, a much better chance of surviving this virus.
Yeah.
My cousin Joey came down with it. He survived. He's fine because he's in his 50s. I'm 71. I think I had it. I think I had this damn disease a week before Christmas. It was the worst cold I ever had in my life. I didn't know what it was. I had to sleep sitting up and everything.
I got a dozen
It was
people
so
that told me
terrible.
that. They had
Yeah.
it in November. It lasted for 3 weeks, and they just couldn't
And
shake
I keep
it.
on coughing. I mean, well into January, well into February. I had it a week before Christmas. February, I'm still coughing my damn fool head off.
Wow.
So-
Very possible. That
So-
means all their numbers are messed up. They talked about lowering the curve. Well, let's talk about shortening the curve. What if this has been going around?
This has been going around for a long time. They just didn't realize it until now.
Oh,
This has been going. What do you think? The virus says, "Hello, I'm home." I don't think so.
yeah.
The
Well,
virus was already here.
that's what I think too. Some
And
very
it's
weird
just like
things
any
happen.
other virus. Trust me. People are dying from the flu. I get flu shots all the time. I get the strongest there is, so I won't catch the flu. So I said to myself, when I caught this thing, I had my shots. I had my shots in October. And yet I got the worst cold in my life. What kind of cold is this? I told my wife, honey, she gave it to me, by the way. I hate you, Francis. Anyways,
Oh, don't get us in trouble up here and get the wife mad
She
at
heard me. She caught it first.
Yeah.
And every time she catches it, of course I get it. And she wonders why I don't want to sleep with her. You know what, Whitey? You sleep in your room, I'll sleep in the guest room.
Boy, we're gonna get ourselves in trouble if we go off on a
I know, I'm
tangent
gonna have a
there.
hell of a time.
Well, now, how's your wife responded to all this? Was she nervous when you said I ain't gonna comply?
I've had a lot of, trust me, a lot of sleepless nights. Where I'd go to bed at like midnight and at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning I'm still awake. Just worrying about this. Yes, I am. Trust me, I do worry. I mean, I'm not that stupid, you know. Not that courageous. Every brave person has a moment of cowardness. Trust me. It's there. But she encourages me. She's right behind me. She supports me. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. I don't.
Well, that's...
I thought you were deaf.
Well, you know, that type of support is important, and what you're doing here is important. Is it symbolizes that constant vigilance that Americans are lacking right now. You recognize right up front something was wrong.
Oh yeah.
You weren't about to jeopardize. I mean, the pursuit of happiness and prosperity is what it's all about. You have invested years in this, and we're not about to let bad law, but not even bad law, bad policy affect that. So
Yes.
good for you on that, and I hope the other businesses around you in town, because that, you know, clearly you've thought about that too, watching the business community and your friends and colleagues and customers crumble
Yes.
to this pressure.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I hope you use some of this attention. I'm going to highlight what you're doing here because it's a service to everybody. To, you know, firm up. Firm up. We're not a bunch of order takers. We're Americans. Know the difference between a law and an executive order, and stop following executive orders, America. Please. They're, you know, from the president, it's on the federal agencies. When it comes from a governor, it's to the state agencies. So if they want to tell MEMA in the Massachusetts Housing Authority, wear a mask or you're not essential, that's fine. That's not for us. Before I let you go, I want to give you a couple of books from someone who has been a great resource to me. His name is Dr. Edwin Vieira. 13 Words in 3 Rights. I'd like you to have those.
Thank you.
He is one, I can count on one hand how many lawyers or attorneys that I give the right time of day to on this earth.
I like that. You don't touch him.
That's right.
You don't touch him. He's armed. He's very armed.
I want you to have those, and he's a wealth of information on the Second Amendment. And I got to thank you. Thank you for the interview.
You're
Thank
very
you
welcome.
for your courage
My
and being
pleasure.
a stand-up American at a time
Amen.
where we need local heroes.
Yep.
So John Costa, the gun runner right here in Millborough, Massachusetts, standing not only for himself, but for all of us. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
I had a great time, and we look forward to seeing you again. If you've got time this June, we're still pushing forward with our annual Flag Day Second Amendment rally, and I'm going to pay for a vending table for you if you'll come.
When's that?
June 13th.
I'm gonna go hunt some four-legged socialists in. Oh, June. Oh yeah, June. I'm gonna hunt some socialists, some four-legged socialists in June. Gonna go hunting in Pennsylvania.
Nah, good for you, good for
Well, I
you.
don't know. June 13th. When is that? Is that a?
That's a Saturday,
It's a Saturday.
real big event. I'm going to have a table there reserved for you, and hope you can make it, or have some reps from the store come out.
And when's this? Where is this?
This is right in Auburn.
Auburn. I never been in Auburn.
Yep, Century Sportsman's Club for those
Century
that
Sportsman's.
want to.
I've had customers, believe it or not, come in here from Auburn just to buy ammunition.
Great bunch of guys out there.
I did. I looked at their license. Auburn? Where's that? Oh, it's wait. What are you doing here? Oh, you got 9mm, don't you? I says, I sure do. Thanks to Cape Gun Works.
There you go. John Costa, the gun runner, everybody. It's been Red Pill Politics. It's like toilet paper for your mind. Tune in every Sunday, 7 to 9. Love and appreciate y'all. Fly your flags high Keep your powder dry. Love each other out there.
Amen.